push it in.
Yeah. I just took this off the hydraulic pump. It's the housing that holds the pump on the forklift, but I'll show the after it's all said and done. But anyways, I thought this would be a good video. They over tightened this, so they broke all the ears, both ears, and they also cracked the housing, but it didn't go through to any of the crucial parts that hold the oil in place. So I think I can salvage. It's 385 bucks, so it's not that bad as far as the price, but I think I can fix this pretty easy. I'm gonna gouge into the housing a little bit, then I'm gonna TIG weld this, and then I'm gonna, if I have to put it on the lathe or the mill, whatever, I'll put it on. Yeah, I think I'll use the lathe. Grab it, put it on a 4-jaw, and just redo the mating surfaces here. But let's go ahead and I already started, so I'm gonna go in here just so that I get a little bit of bite on the weld. And I bought these little guys. They work really good. I don't want to cut too much into here, because this is where the O-ring sits. So I'm trying not to put too much in there. Cut anything in there. This just needs to hold the pump this way against the motor, and somebody over tightened the crap out of it. So. Alright, that looks pretty good. At first I was going to make this part just out of steel, because I think aluminum is too weak for this, but it'll work. Once I weld that's not going anywhere. So that's pretty clean. So now I'm gonna get the ear. I'm gonna try not to touch too much of this, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to. We'll see. Alright, so let's see here. So this one is this guy here. And it's not bad. It meets up pretty good. There's a little bit of interference over here, because it probably got like crimped, I feel a little. So I'm gonna cut that, clean that up so it can sit better. And I think I might have to touch this up here in order for it to be strong, even though it needs to be strong this way. It's gonna push. These ears are going to push that way, so I think this little guy will hold it better. Ooh. Good way of losing a finger. Let's see. See what that looks like. Yeah, I think that'll work. Yeah. Let me clean this one up. By the way, I think this is a board design anyways, because all that's holding this heavy pump, this thing is, you'll see when I put it back together, but this thing is about like that big. It's turning, so it's vibrating a little bit. Not a lot, but it's, you know, plus when you use the hydraulics, it puts a lot of pressure on this. So I think this, just like this design here, should be like double the size maybe, you know, to be able to, so this won't happen. Obviously this is crap because it did break. It broke because somebody over tightened it, but reality is, no matter what you do to this, it's under a lot of pressure. But I guess if they made it indestructible, they would only sell one. So, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, that'll work. So now what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to make some kind of jig, or maybe I just set it on those jaws. Let's see. Let me clean this up. I don't like to weld on top of this machine, but I think in this case it might be okay, because this is a pretty flat thing here. Even though it doesn't feel pretty flat. Let's see here. What? It doesn't feel flat between these two. Okay. Oh yeah, take a look at that. I think I can weld that on there. Then I'll turn it around, weld this first, and then turn it around and weld the other side. See it? Yep. Bring it in a little bit. There you go. Okay. Yeah, I think that's gonna work nicely. And then I can make this guy, I'm gonna put it on. Yeah, there it is. Huh. Okay. That's definitely the way to go. Alright, so I'm gonna set up so I can weld this thing. Okay. We're recording. Yep. Okay. Alright, so I kind of cleaned up a little bit, got it all set up. I'm going to use a little bit of acetone to clean all this, including the TIG rods. So let me clean all this stuff up. There you go. I think that'll work. Okay. That's beautiful. I'm just going to tack this. This metal is filthy. Okay, so that's my attempt to fix that thing. I mean, it held pretty good, but I'm gonna have to machine that ring no matter what. So, okay, so I finished welding that sucker. That it's gonna hold. It's not the prettiest, but it's gonna hold. That's not coming off of there. I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. It's easier to do it while this side I just have to lap this and get it nice and smooth. This side I'm gonna have to put it on the lathe to get that edge. I might have to fill. Oop, I'm missing it. Okay, I might have to fill this little bit here to just fill that whole thing in so that I can get that edge nice and because there's an O-ring. Okay, so there it is. Alright. So it's not the prettiest, but it'll definitely hold. Now all I gotta do now, see this one? This one's the same. Not the prettiest, but you know, it'll definitely hold. So now all I gotta do is put this, I think I'm gonna put it on the lathe, and I have to true this surface again because there's a seal that goes all the way around, and as you can see I made a mess out of that one. But anyways, it'll seal. I mean, it doesn't have to be 100%, but I want it to be nice. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put it on the lathe. I'm gonna bring this back. Yeah, and then I'm gonna lap this because it went a little bit into here, but the sealing surface is in between the hole, so I just have to make sure that there's nothing, because this whole thing sits flush. So I put a piece of sandpaper and I'll sand it smooth till I see, you know, get rid of anything that's you know, I feel like there's a little bit of something sticking up right here. So that's it. Came out pretty good. That's definitely not going to come off of there. So let's put it on the lathe and see what we can do with this. All right, after a few minutes of trying to set this thing up, anyways, I got it within a few tenths. So, and it, you know, it's pretty nice. Spins pretty good. So now what I'm gonna do, and this doesn't have to be. We're not doing surgery or anything that requires so much. You know, if I was working on the internals, I would make it a little bit tighter, but, or you know, that's it. That's pretty tight. So there we go. So now I'm gonna. So I don't know where the hell to put the camera. So now I'm going to start cutting that, and then I'll bring it back. Alright, I guess I'll put it right there. I don't know if you can see that, but close enough. I'm just trying to true up the front of it. It doesn't mate with anything, so it doesn't need to be perfect. But I don't want anything sticking up. And there's a little bit of a hump, so I'm going to take that off. I'm going to take that hump off without disturbing the that face. Alright, so we're back on it. Alright, so I did a little bit of file work. Didn't come out perfect. I mean, there's a couple of holes, but let me get the O-ring. The O-ring will sit pretty. The O-ring sits pretty good. I'll just put a little bit of silicone, that red stuff, and that'll seal that up, no problem. There's no pressure here. This is just keeps oil. This goes against the engine, that way oil doesn't go through to the pump. But it seals pretty good. So I'll fill that a little bit, and that's gonna work out nicely. So check it out, worked out nice. I got all these put back together. Now you see this, see that, and that. I'm gonna leave that. I'm not gonna remove that. I might put it on the mill and put a little for the bolt, a seat for the bolt here, but anyways. So what I'm gonna do next, so I'm going to take, this is 1000 sandpaper, and set it up there. It's pretty straight. And I'm going to make this thing, actually, I think I'm going to spray something there. I'm going to spray a little bit of this stuff. Up here. Just to hold it. Right? Now, see what we got. We got some scratches and stuff. See, there's a couple of little high spots from getting dinged and I think that's all I need. That's all I'm gonna do. That's it. So I'm gonna put this back together. Put it on the forklift. Nice. Clean it up though. Alright, so we're back to it now. I washed this thing with a little soapy water. Cleaned it up really good. This came out nice. Yeah, this came out nice. Okay, so here's the pump. Here's the pump. Now, this takes this seal and this clip, so I think I'm going to put that on first. The seal goes down in there, so I'm going to put the seal in, get a socket to push it in. How about this guy? Yep, that's better. I almost want to put, oh man, it goes in tight. Jeez, stay on the shelf. Okay, so that's all the way in. So now that it's in there, I'm gonna, okay, easy. There's a little bit of a gap there, but I think that prevents the seal from working its way out. There it is. Alright. Next. So now we got to make sure that we put this thing on the right way. And the reason I know it's the right way, because if you look in here, you can see the outline of this seal. Bring it up. Of this seal in here. You can see it in there. So this goes like this. Now, this pump right here, it's about $384. Is it worth the time to do what I did? It all depends. on how confident you are for this little repair that's going to work. I mean, you're not going to have a bunch of leaks coming out of here. I don't think so. I think this pump, before I took it off, I turned it on and I checked the pump and it was working beautifully. So I think it's worth it. You know, there was no leaks. The only thing they had a leak was the hose that was here, and this is the supply from the tank. And really, the reason it had a leak is because it wasn't tight. So I think that this was a successful repair. If you look at it, that's gonna hold for a long time, especially when I take care of the stuff, so it's gonna work nicely. So now I'm gonna torque this to maybe I'll go look this up and see what the torque spec is on this. Alright, I'm gonna finish that up and then I'll put it on the machine. That worked out nice. I got to put this and a brand new carburetor that I have and a few other parts. Alright, we'll see you back on the machine. Okay, so now we're back on this. I'm gonna go ahead and dry fit the pump. I'm not gonna put the O-ring, and I'm not gonna put the seal. So I'm gonna start by testing it and make sure it fits in there, and then see if the bolts will hold, because I didn't remove. Let me go get it. Alright, so let's try this. This is greasy. This is the only part of this that I don't like. All this greasing. By the time I get to the machine, it's so it's such a mess. People don't take care of anything, I guess. They know how to work it, and that's it. There's no maintenance involved. Alright, there he goes. Wow. I think that's gonna work out nicely. Yeah, I think that's gonna work beautiful. So let me see the bottom and make sure these nuts are gonna work. I don't even know if those are the ones for there. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's it. Okay. Maybe I'll put a washer. Let's see. I just don't want to remove the weld. You know, it's gonna, yeah, this one's gonna be perfect. I just don't want to remove any of the weld because I don't want it to be weak. So that's nice. Okay. The bottom one has a little bit more weld. So let's see. Yeah, but it's gonna work out nice. No, actually, this is the one with all the weld, so that's gonna be perfect. Awesome. In. Pretty sure it goes like this. All this is a return line, so I'm sorry, a supply line. So it's not there's no pressure here. Okay, so I got it out. Like I said, when I did this, there's a couple of holes They're not going to interfere with anything. They're not going to cause a leak. All this does is prevent the motor oil, which there's already a seal there, but some of it does come through. It prevents the motor oil from leaking out. So there's no pressure, there's nothing there. At least that's what I think. So if it's what I think, I guess that's what it is. I don't know. But it's not going to leak out once I do this. So I'm going to use some of this stuff. High temperature gasket maker. But I usually poke a little hole on the side, but yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Poke a little hole. And then, you know what? I'm going to use, yeah, I guess I'll use the glove. Doesn't need much. Alright, so we're back on it. The battery died, so I already got the O-ring in and I got the stuff on it. So that's done. Now it's a matter of just putting it back together. I'm gonna slap this sucker in forever. So you can see. See, it's not much. Just enough to cause some real damage. Okay, she is in. Going to be a little tricky to get the bolts underneath, the nut underneath. Okay, so I got it back in. It was kind of tough, but I don't know how that broke because that flange sits flush, nice on that. Sits really nice on that surface. So I don't know how they would have broken that. But it's in there now, so now I just have to tighten up the hoses and put this little guy on it. Okay, so now we're back on this. We're gonna replace this O-ring. Okay, it goes right in here. Oh, right in here. Let's see if you can see that. You know what? Let me get this little guy. Alright, so it goes right in there. Damn, I didn't mean to put it on. Alright, anyways, let's take it out. There it goes. Alright, so this. Replace it. Now we're gonna remove that guy down there. That guy. That's kind of nice, those little plugs. Way too deep. Okay. I got another one under here. Yeah. So these little guys work good, but I think I pushed this one in too hard. Okay, I think that's good. Alright, now I'm going to do the bottom and this thing will be done. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this little video on that pump. If you have a different way or have some suggestions for the next time, leave them down in the comments.